Join me for a conversation with John Anderson, the chairman of Triumph Gold Corp, trading as TIG on the TSX Venture Exchange and TIGCF in the U.S. Triumph Gold Corp is a mineral exploration company currently focused on its 100% Free Gold Mountain project in Canada's Yukon. This road-accessible property is located in the Dawson Range Gold Copper Belt, host to the Casino Copper Deposit, the Coffee Gold Deposit, and the Plaza Gold Prospect. Triumph Gold Corp has a leadership team with a collective history of exploration success as well as capital raising ability. John, welcome back to the program. It's nice to speak with you again.
And it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Ellis.
Tell us about what's been going on in the 100% owned Blue Sky Zone.
Thanks, Ellis. Since last time we spoke, we just commenced our exploration program for the 2018 season to follow up on last year's exploration success. Last year, we came up with 4 new exploration ideas that were followed up on with drilling. And this year, we wanted to follow up on that success and prove the concept of what we came up with, as well as explore new ideas on the property. As it relates to Blue Sky, last year we had a technical discovery that we were really excited about. We hit a porphyry zone around our already large resource. It confirmed a geological mineralized zone that was 3.5 kilometers long. What we wanted to follow up was further define that and vector in on grade so we could show the market some confidence to the size and really the richness of this discovery.
Well, I think the market has that confidence about Triumph, even before you've completely proved it out. Good news coming from the Yukon.
Again, following up from last year, we hit one porphyry zone of 52 meters, and it was a gram of gold and 0.3% copper. And that in a porphyry would make it one of the richest porphyries in the whole Western Cordillera. What we were able to do this year was do follow up on that, and we hit a fairly significant breccia zone outside of that called the Wow Breccia, where we hit over 100 meters of 1.33 gram gold equivalent. And then shortly thereafter, we came up with the first couple holes in this Blue Sky Porphyry, where we confirmed that same grade over multiple intercepts of over 200 meters of 1 gram gold and 0.3% copper. So we know we have an elephant by the tail, and we're continuing to explore it.
What sort of conversations have you been having, John, with companies such as Gold Corp, etc., without getting into any confidentiality agreements, of course?
Right now, Ellis, we have 2 mining companies that are our shareholders. In particular, Gold Corp has 19% of the company, or 19.999% of the company. And Zinshin Mining out of China, they've got just under 10%. They're under CA. We have a few other companies that are under confidentiality agreements, so I really can't comment on any of those.
There have been some major successes in the area regionally. What does that portend?
Well, a lot of talk and a lot of excitement in the junior exploration business right now, particularly what's called the Golden Triangle in British Columbia. And the Golden Triangle it's a great promotional term, but it's really the whole Tatina Gold Belt that goes through British Columbia and up through the Yukon and into Alaska. So it is pretty much the same large block of rocks. And within that, you've had a few big discoveries that the market's really jumped on, in particular Aben and Golden Ridge. And I think our project mirrors really the success of Golden Ridge, and the strategy mirrors what Aben has. And so Aben last year came out with what they said was a discovery hole, but they didn't get a lot of love in the market until this year. And that's really because you had the confirmation of that same success of last year. That's exactly what we have had this year at Triumph, where we had confirmation with grade and size to last year's exploration success. As it relates to Golden Ridge has come out with a fantastic porphyry in British Columbia. It's 0.3% copper and 3 grams gold in a porphyry right at surface. I think what we want to get across is that we've got something like that, but it is much richer with a gold content. We've pretty much got 3 times the gold content than those other ones.
Do you think we're seeing a new gold rush between the Golden Triangle and the Yukon, perhaps? Something we haven't seen in over 100 to 150 years? That's a big number, I realize. What do you think?
You're definitely seeing a gold rush in British Columbia with the juniors. I'd say the Yukon one is a little more mature than that. And why I say that is you're having all these juniors having success and their stocks are doing phenomenally well. Why I say the Yukon is more advanced than that is you look at who's in the Yukon versus who's in British Columbia, where in the last 2 years, Gold Corp is showing up with obviously the purchase of Kaminak Resources for $520 million, their investment into us. And then you've seen Newmont take a big stake in the Yukon. You've seen Barrick show up in the Yukon. Coeur d'Alene Mining has shown up in the Yukon. And you're seeing physical presence of all the majors. And it's not just consultants for the majors. It's actually the companies. So that's the one thing I will say the Yukon is a little more mature, is that they're probably 2 years ahead of this British Columbia rush, per se.
What's the next step for Triumph for the rest of the year and beyond?
Well, we are just wrapping up our exploration seasonal program now. We should be finished by the end of September. We've come up with our first 2 sets of results, primarily the WOW breccia that I discussed earlier and the initial holes from the Blue Sky zone. We have got a number of results to come through, probably right through to the end of November, because as drilling goes on, it does take a couple months to get these results. And we're doing a lot more work than just drilling.
Let's talk about the share structure.
We have incredible shareholders, and I thank them every time I see them. Go out of my way to thank them. We have Gold Corp obviously having 18.99%, Zinshin that I mentioned that's got 10%. Also have Gold 2000 out of Zurich, who've been so great to work with. They have 10%. Palisades Capital has been phenomenal, and they've got about 17.5%, and a couple other funds. If we had to put it together, we're probably about 60% institutional and held by other mining companies, and long-term shareholders that still we communicate with every day. So I would say we've got a good 70% of well-held supportive shareholders, and again, I just can't thank them enough for the patience and the perseverance and the assistance.
John, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
I look forward to seeing you in LA soon.
I've been speaking with John Anderson, the chairman of Triumph Gold Corp, trading as TIG on the TSX Venture Exchange and TIGCF in the U.S. Listen to the segment again on our website, ellismartinreport.com.